Good morning, friends. It is a Saturday morning here in Southwest Michigan. It is, I think, about 7:30 in the morning, and I thought I would try to come out and do a video before traffic got too crazy on the highway. And I see in just the last 30 minutes it is completely picked up. So we're going to do my first ever garden tour. I'm going to share with you the good, the bad, and I better learn from that stuff. So I'm going to show you even the things that never got planted, the things that are still sitting out, and this is going to be some raw footage. This is my non-perfect garden, but it is still producing food for us, and I still enjoy it every single day. I had some stuff going on, so some stuff had to get let go this year, and I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to move forward from here. And we're going to start with what's newest in the garden. And I am so excited. So my garlic bed, which is right behind me, I pulled up all my garlic, and that is cured in the garage. I had it hanging and that stuff. And I came out and I popped in the beans. I put in bush beans and snow peas, and just so the bed wouldn't be empty. I'm like, there's no reason why I can't get even a handful of beans before we get winter here. So I'm going to start with those. We're going to show those, as well as we're going to take one last look at the blueberry bushes. They are almost done for the year, and we'll walk over to the garden cage. I will show you my messy stump growing project, and we'll check out some other things that we have going on. So let's take a look at these beans I planted only a week ago. These are 1 week old, so let's go check them out. So standing from this point, this was my garlic bed here, and then I just popped in those 2 zucchinis at the end. Out in this back corner, I have one of these, a smaller section of these. It was built out of something different, and they started to rot, so we hauled them out to the corner. It's right there, right at the edge, just behind those tall weeds. And I started throwing all my compost in there. I was so excited. I was going to make my own compost, and I threw my kitchen scraps in there. I threw some yard stuff in there. I was throwing trees in there, and lo and behold, I, for the first time ever, have poison ivy. Poison ivy grew all throughout it. I'm not sure how it got there. I'm sure it just migrated there. But the poison ivy is ferocious out there. And I tromped through this little section of woods out here with no issues. I have for years. And I just noticed something for the first time. So now we're going to walk out there. But I've never had issues with poison ivy out here. And then lo and behold, today, or this year, when I start a compost pile, there is oh my gosh. You guys, this is so exciting. I planted these like 4 years ago, and they have never blossomed. I finally gave up on them. I figured we mowed them down too much, and I am so excited these are here. I did not notice them until this morning. So, yay! Yeah, there were 2 plants that I planted out here. I bought them on $1 clearance. They looked half dead sale at a greenhouse, and they finally bloomed 4 years later. That is so exciting. I am so happy. Oh, yay. As long as we were out here this far, this is, you can see the wooden box a little bit, is where I have the wooden box full of compost, and where the poison ivy lies down below. So I just stay out of it. All right, so we're back up at the bean and pea garden, former garlic garden. And right next to it, if nobody has seen this yet, These are my blueberry bushes, and we built this cage. My husband put this together for me so that I could have the blueberries before the birds did. And this year, for the first time, I went ahead and put cardboard all around. I did not mulch it yet. I do come out here and water it. You can see some weeds are still sneaking through back there. And I have just a few. We are on the tail end of the blueberries, and there are a few left in there. I think I ended up getting probably close to 10 cups worth. I get about a cup a night, and I've done that for like 10 days in a row. So I didn't mulch this for a couple of reasons. I have in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 plants in here, and there's a couple of varieties, and I want to rearrange them after this harvest, because I have a loner plant that's kind of out here pretty far by himself, and he literally, since I bought him 3 years ago, has never produced a blueberry. I don't think. I might have gotten one, but I think he needs to be closer to his friends. So we're going to move him in closer, and you can see he keeps, every year he's putting up new shoots. So I know he's not dead. I just don't know if he's not getting pollinated, or if anybody has blueberries and you have any idea, do blueberries just stop producing even though they're producing new shoots or stalks or limbs? He appears to be healthy. He just started turning that red down below, but up above, he is really healthy and doing great. So I think he just needs to be closer to the other ones. The other ones are kind of closer together. So I'm going to take him from this spot here and move him down in here somewhere. Maybe I will slide him, or maybe I'm just going to slide him in. And then the end of this bed, I can plant lettuces or beets or carrots or short-term growing things that'll just sprout and go. So that is my plan for that. But if you know anything about blueberries, will a blueberry just stop producing blueberries for good? Do I need to just get rid of him and be happy with my other 6 bushes? So let me know in the comments down below. Let's head over to my scary stalk area. All right, so like I said, we are out here first thing in the morning. The sun is beautiful. There is still dew on the leaves that are growing around this giant. You can see I have this stump that I've been setting these on. And in this, I have some parsley that's doing well. I need to get this snip back, and I'll get it dehydrated. I've got marigolds that are just going crazy. I might move some of these out to the other pea garden area so that they can thrive out there. This little whippersnapper is some cucumbering pickles, and it is getting long. All of a sudden, and you can't really tell with the sunlight, all of a sudden it turned yellow, like yesterday or the day before. It was a really deep green, and all of a sudden it turned yellow. So I hope it's not dying off, but it keeps growing. And I do down here have an actual pickle growing on it, so we'll see. There's another one. I put 2 of them in there. There's another little one here, and I have some up top. This was like, I thought I bought a 4-pack, and it was like an 8-pack. So these are kind of just shoved anywhere I had dirt available. And you can see in there a little cucumber as well. This here smells amazing. Oh my goodness. This is sweet basil, and the dirt on it is just from when I watered last night. But as you can see, the little bugs are starting to get to it. I'm just leaving it out here because it smells amazing. It's more fragrant than some of the flowers I grow. So he's out here. Marigolds on this side. I need to rotate this better. I'll show you the scary stuff down below. This is rosemary. I planted this. I purchased that plant at the farmer's market. So that one I did not grow, as well as this basil here, which has bolted at the top. The flowers have sprouted, but it just looks so pretty. I'm just leaving it. And it's also giving the bugs something to eat in hopes that they won't eat the stuff that I really want. This here is flat leaf parsley. This I started from seed in the house. If you started with me, it was in that clear plastic container, and it finally took off like 2 or 3 days ago. It's been out here for months, and I don't know if it was too hot or whatnot, but that's the flat leaf parsley. And the bottoms is just weeds because I didn't finish filling it out. I think I had lettuces in them and they did not take. So this is the stump. And here is I'm so sorry I did not get to it. These were all my extra tomatoes that I got potted into these. Not all of them, but like this is a tomato plant. That's a tomato plant, tomato plant, tomato plant, tomato plant. Like I really thought they were dead, and then all of a sudden they took off again. So today I'm going to pop them in the front yard in the front flower bed, and I'll show you why, because I have plenty of room. Water jugs, I fill these up every night and just let them sit overnight because we take them out, and the hose, because the hose doesn't reach all the way out. So we take those water jugs out every night when I get home from work. I fill them a couple times, but having them filled once before I get out of work is so helpful. And we walk out here to our apple trees. We planted 3, and by we, I mean my amazing husband planted. He got me these for my birthday or Mother's Day. I'm not sure. I got them as a gift. I was excited. We got 2 varieties. We got apple candy crisp, and we got one of those, and then we got that one's apple candy crisp. Let me check what the third one is. I think it's called wine sap. It is called wine sap. So that is, they are dwarf trees, so as long as we keep them topped, we should be able to get most of the fruit. Ooh, sorry about the sun. As long as we keep them topped, from what I know about apple trees, we should be able to get most of the fruit without having to get a ladder. So excited to add these to our garden. We will be able to do applesauce and apple butter and all those things, which I do anyways, but I go buy the apples, but now I'm gonna know what they were sprayed with or what they weren't sprayed with as they grow. I know we're not gonna have fruit for a couple of years, but that's okay. I will water them regularly, and once we get through these first few weeks, then I won't have to water them as often, but I have been doing them every night for that. So if you are an apple tree grower, I would love your tips down below, because first time having actual trees, we'd like to put in a couple more. We'd like to get a pear tree as well as a peach tree to put out here in our area. And we have a nice size space out here. You can see our burn pile is back there, but these are a little bit of a distance from the house, so the hose doesn't reach out here, which we've started working on some plans for that as well. So let's walk back up to the garden cage. I forgot, it is early Saturday morning, and my neighbors have put their camper out in their backyard, and I'm out here talking away like the world doesn't care that I'm up this early in the morning and taking a video, trying to talk over the highway traffic. And So I hope I didn't wake them. I hope they're not actually there and they're just airing it out. But we're gonna head into the garden cage. So this, my friends, is the garden area that my husband built for me several years ago. And this is coconut core down on the center of it. I get weeds once in a while, but it's not too bad. If anything, I get more walnuts than to pick up than anything. We do have, when we built this cage, I asked him to put in this so that the deer, we have a lot of deer that come out of the woods from over there, and I did not want them to eat everything. So we did put the little fencing around it. It is a small space. I have no idea what the measurements are, but they're little beds. And when we picked the placement of it, we were picking it based on, we thought about things. We did think about the sun, but the time of year we built it wasn't the accurate for where the trees were as far as sunlight, as well as we were thinking about mowing lines, like where our mower could mow and fit and those kinds of things. So when we picked the placement of it, the only thing that I would change is I wish it got more sunlight than what it did. It does, like right now, it is probably 8 in the morning and it's 8:30 and the sun is not in here yet, and it's the end of July. So it'll be in here in probably 15 minutes. That's why I wanted to get out here and do this before the sun got too high to make the video. But right above it, you can see we have a maple tree here and a maple tree here. So it does get sun. Don't let that make you think that it does not. It does not. It does get a lot of sun. Could it get a little more? Yeah, I would hope so, but that's okay because I'm learning to grow things. I rotated what I grew in the past into different spots, and I've learned that that can't be there either. So I'm just learning the space. But back in the first corner, we have this amazing pepper that is bigger than my hand. It is huge. It just started turning red, so I'm going to give it a couple days. I'm going to pull it off because otherwise I'm not going to get any other peppers from this plant because it's putting all of its energy into this one. This is a Carmen sweet pepper. We got this at the farmer's market, as well as this other pepper plant here we got at the farmer's market. His little tag is gone. I think he is a banana pepper. We've gotten like 4 or 5 peppers off of him already. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days ago, all these flowers popped up. So excited about that. This is the pepper that I tried to grow from seed. Yeah, we'll just say that I had 2 that survived. That one and that one there. So yeah, peppers are a learning curve for me. This big tomato plant here, which has these flowers on it, is just starting to flower. This is one that I grew from seed, and that started in the house earlier this year. So that one is finally taking off. Some of these other ones that have a ton of tomatoes on them, those were started in a greenhouse, and we picked them up at the farmer's market so we could start getting food a little earlier, knowing that mine was going to be late. This one here is also one that I started in the house. I think this is a Rutger tomato. So this one here is the Rutger tomato, and it is also starting to get the flowers on it. And this one next to it is the same, also Rutger. That one I started in the house. These 2 back here in the back corner are Jet Setters, which is a slicing tomato, or sorry, Jet Star. These we picked up at the farmer's market. I've gotten 3 or 4 tomatoes off of them already. This one is doing okay. This is the one that has all the tomatoes on it. This is the one I've gotten at least 2 or 3 tomatoes on. I came out 2 days ago, and it looks like this. Not sure what happened, but the tomatoes are still growing. So I don't want to, I cut a bunch off already. I don't want to cut too much off and shuck it. But as they start to turn this yellow, I've been going ahead and cutting them off. But I may have to just pull the tomatoes at the size they are and just slice them up that way. Down along the front of my tomatoes are my marigolds, which are just going crazy. I don't know if I talked about in another video marigolds. I didn't plant any because I didn't want to take up the seed space in my house. And then I couldn't find any for months and months. And it was the craziest thing. So I will always just start at least some marigolds so that when I can't find any, I can at least have some. They're great for pests, so I keep them near my tomatoes for that reason. This is a Roma plant that is pretty much bit the dust. This happened the same time all of this happened. This one I started. This is a Roma back here as well. And that one I started and is probably not going to do anything. I don't know if it's not getting enough sun because of this guy, but this guy is going to get cut way back. So we'll check that out. This little guy back here is a grape tomato, and I'm so excited for these. I want to grow more of these next year because I actually do like these. I don't care for cherry tomatoes, but these ones are okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are the carrots. Let's just, we'll back up and give you like the real view here. All of this hot mess is all carrots. I have thinned them out so many times. They are just supposed to be short, stubby carrots, and they still are not ready. And so I'm just letting them go to see what happens. I planted them on March 25th out, and they should have been picked by the beginning of June based on the package. March, April, May, end of May, yeah, beginning of June. And they still are not really even carrots yet. I'm cracking up. I think it's totally funny. They're taking up a ton of prime sunshine. This is the spot that gets all the sun in the bed for the longest amount of time. They're getting all my sunshine, which they don't need. And my pepper plants would have done better had I got them down on this end, but it is what it is. We're going to let them grow. And next to it, this here is fennel. I bought the wrong thing at the greenhouse. All of their herbs and stuff were 50% off, and so I thought I was grabbing something else. I got this instead. So we eat fennel, and I will dry it, and my mom is going to get a lot of it because she likes fennel as well. But so I have 3 good-sized plants of fennel in here. I broke them up. I didn't know if I was supposed to. They all came in one little pack, but they're doing just fine. Hidden in this hot carrot mess, dun, 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 is a dwarf tomato, and I really should put him out in something else. I've gotten a few. I think he's called a Tiny Tim. He needs way more sunlight. I have gotten tomatoes from him, but I don't think he can do anything because he's not getting enough sun. And I threw in, remember I said I bought a whole bunch of cucumbers, and I bought a bigger pack than what I thought. So everybody just went somewhere. Here's another one. There's another one with a tiny cucumber on it, hidden back there. This plant here is a Roma plant, and I believe that is one of mine that I grew. There's no tag, so it must be one of mine. And in the back, that tomato plant that's growing, actually we got from the same farmer's market, same day. That is a beefsteak tomato, I believe, or another Jet Star. That sad little tomato plant right there, it's one that I started. And I think I said in another video, I goofed up my vegetables when I seed started. So Some did really well, some aren't doing anything. I just leave them out here because I grew that. These two plants here, actually, that far one and this one, are both Roma tomatoes, and I planted both of those. Those are my seeds. So, I mean, I was successful, but some of them just didn't take because I didn't, when we came back from vacation, I should have taken different steps. Tomatoes that I started, what do we got down here? And this one back here is a Roma that I did pick up from the farmer's market. It is going absolutely crazy. I cannot wait to get all of these off of there. And next to that, I have, oh, cucumber plants, you say? I have more cucumber plants. So you can see some of them there and there, and lots of them growing. One of these, I believe, is a zucchini, but maybe not. Maybe these are all cucumbers. I was so worried about not having cucumbers that I just, yeah. And there, and I've got two more little ones growing down there. So, cucumber. So they're coming in slowly. Some hidden back there. So this is the newest addition to our garden, and it is a water tank, and I've had the tank, I think I bought it last summer from somebody who ended up and didn't use it, and they were moving, and I need to get the nozzles and stuff put on them. I need to find the directions because I'm not really sure how you put your arm in the top and hold the nut that holds the nozzle, or maybe I'm overthinking it and I need to look at the parts better and get the screen on the top. But my husband hung a little gutter system up, and this is a metal roofing shed. I did not want it to come off the shingles, if at all possible, from the house. So we put it out here, which is perfect because then it's right here, like literally next to the garden cage, as well as straight out. Those three things in the sunshine are my apple trees. So that puts water closer to me out here. So that makes me so, so, so happy. All right, friends. So this is a section of my garden that totally got away from me. This is not even garden. This is lava rock being overtaken by weeds. Every year I do a little bit more to get this under control, and this year I did not get to do that. Just too much going on. This little barrel here, I did shove in a bunch of, this is lemongrass and pineapple sage is what, this is what I was looking for. This is so yummy and tastes so good. And then I have these other two here. This pot I just set in here while this is oregano, and this is a different kind of oregano. So just a little party pack in the pot while, so it didn't take over, but it's right outside my back door so that I can get to it quickly so I can snap off what I want. And these were, which actually they aren't doing too bad, Gerbera daisies that I did not get in the ground. There was a whole flat for $5, and I got a bunch in the garden, which I need to show you in the garden cage. I have one that's reblooming. I'm so excited. And I think I might get these popped in the ground because they are still going to bloom. That is so crazy. I have ignored them, not watered them. As you can see, some of them are not doing well, and they just kind of got set there, and that's the reality of gardening sometimes. It just doesn't happen. Next to that, this is on the corner of my house. This is my flower bed. This is the original location right here of my garlic. It's where it all started, and I planted 50 heads of garlic there about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just grown from there. These are my potatoes. These are weeds. And So these are potato plants. These were an organic potato that fell behind something in the cupboard. So I cut them, I let them callus over, and I popped them in here and I threw some straw on them. And you can see they are flowering. And some of them have flowered and the flowers have died off already. It does look like something, probably the little ants. The ants out here are horrible. And I do have, I'm not sure if it's on my Facebook page or Instagram, there are a couple of little voles, little miniature moles that live under here, and this is an experiment to see if the voles and I can cohabitate. If not, they will have to get relocated. All right, so here is the, oh my gosh, is this ever going to get under control section of my flower bed around the house. Weeds, 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 weeds. I weeded. Now we're into the shade. I weeded the other day because I'm like, I have to take 15 minutes and make my flower bed look like a flower bed. So that section has never been planted with anything. Once in a while, one year I threw zinnias in it, but this year I didn't do anything. And I try to put in 2 or 3 perennials every year so that I don't have a lot of maintenance. Like this bad boy here, which I couldn't see. I'll have to see if I can find the before photo. This is so pretty when it blooms. It is gold and maroon flowers. They are stunning when they bloom. So I couldn't see this because weeds like that were covering it. And I'm like, I'm going to be so sad if I don't see that when it blooms. So I came out here and I did a ton of weeding, and I just took 15 minutes, you guys. 15 minutes can change the whole appearance of something. I couldn't see these because they were overgrown by weeds, and they are almost done already, and I totally missed it. They're drying out. I picked those up at, where did I get those? Our master gardeners have a sale every year, and these were like in a milk carton, like a gallon milk jug. Somebody had dug them up and brought them, and they were like $5 each or maybe $7 each or something. And they have just, I've got to find out if I need to split them or what I do with them. So yeah, so around to the front. And I planted this hibiscus I got at the farmer's market about 4 or 5 years ago. Comes back every year, gets a little bigger, so excited. I have a morning glory that I planted 4 or 5 years ago. Thought I ripped it out, and it keeps reappearing. And I keep pulling it away, and it keeps reappearing. I will forever have a morning glory, I think. And so my front yard, woo! These dahlias I grabbed, they were on a clearance thing. I got them on a clearance thing at one of our big box stores. We were there. They were looking sad. They were like $4 each, but they keep giving me flowers, so that's okay. And these tall guys here, when we bought our apple trees, they gave us a flat of those, and they look like they are almost done for the year. They were really pretty tall purple. Here's some that are down here that are a tall purple flower. They were gorgeous when they were in their glory and not surrounded by weeds. This here is a red hot poker, and you are not seeing it at its prime. I think this one's gonna go. It doesn't give me all the oohs and ahs that it used to, but it did split, so now I have 2. I've never had 2 before. I bought one at that same Master Gardener sale, and so I do have 2, so I don't know if it's gonna split again or what's gonna happen. So I'll have to think that one out. But it blooms so quick and it's gone so fast that I don't know if it's worth this space. I have tons of weeding to do up here. I have walnuts that have replanted themselves. And so I'm gonna have to dig those up before I have trees in my garden. This is what I'm going to work on today. I'm gonna have to do this, and before I post this video, do an after shot so you guys can see that I really do know how to weed. Um, we have a greenhouse near us that sells flats of flowers for $5, the whole flat, when they have overflow. And so I picked these up. I've never had them before, but boy, are they pretty, even amongst the weeds. They make the weeds look almost pretty, and just like, it makes the green of the weeds pop, right? This in here, this Gerbera daisy just keeps surviving. I definitely need to prune him. I do not get to this side of the house very much. Isn't that sad? Because it's the front. This one, my daughter gets me a Gerbera every year for Mother's Day, and that was my Mother's Day Gerbera, and it died off and then rebloomed. I've never had my Gerberas rebloom, and this year, almost all of them are. It's the craziest thing. And some more weeds. Last but not least, this is my mum. This was given to me about 5 years ago. It was a gift when my grandma passed. It came in a small little nursery pot from my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and it is a beautiful white mum. And a couple weeks ago, I cut it back all the way down. Like, you can see there's like some cut ones here, but it was short, and so it could regrow before fall. Otherwise, it gets to be like 4 foot tall, and I can't even harness it to get it to stand up because the blooms just make it fall over. So I cut it way back early and then let it regrow before fall. And down my front yard, I planted these bushes a few years ago so that we could have some cover in the front. I also added, I did this stone to make mowing easy for my husband so he could just run right over it with the lawnmower. It wasn't an actual trimming thing, and it was a lot of work, but boy, was it worth it. I would love to go all the way down the front section and do that. And
Well, friends, thank you so much for joining me today on this long garden tour. It motivated me to clean up the front of my flower bed and make it look a little more presentable up front. As well as if you learned something in this video, be sure to like it, share your comments with me about your apple trees or any advice you have for a first time apple tree grower. And we will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day and enjoy.